All right, we are starting. How's everybody doing tonight? Come off mute. Talk to me. Give me some energy. Come off mute.
Fantastic.
I know that you're here. So I know that you're here.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Awesome. Doing great.
Chica, come off mute.
I'm good.
Sam, ask her if she's sure.
Are you sure about that, Chica? I don't feel it. I don't believe you.
I just put the kids to
I can't
bed.
see you. I don't believe you.
You just put your kids to bed, so you have to totally reboot.
Yes.
And if y'all don't know her kids, you know why. She probably had both of them hanging on her arms like this. I know her kids. Great kids, but woo, they're a handful, aren't they? I guarantee you, if I put them to bed, they would have punched me in the stomach at least 3 or 4 times.
Oh my gosh.
Kids always punching on me. Anyway, everybody doing good? Everybody feel good? I feel good. I just got through doing legs. Ooh, I like Sam's shirt, his sweatshirt. Look at that. Herbalife 24 champion. Woo! I need to get me one of them. See, Sam is just showing us how it's done. I mean, come on. When you see his pictures on social media, I mean, it's just proof that we all got to step up our game. Y'all raise your hand if everywhere you go, you got the logo. Raise your hand if everywhere you go, you're wearing the logo. There you go. All right. Just wanted to make sure. Because we can't be undercover Herbalife distributors, right? Can't be undercover. Okay? You just never know who you're going to meet. Right? Write it down. Mark Hughes used to teach us this all the time. And it's the you just never know philosophy. You just never know. That's one of the, I mean, how many great things are there in Herbalife? 100, 200, 300, 500, 1,000. A lot of great things in Herbalife. But what Jim Rohn says is the possibilities of the future is an awesome force. Who agrees with that? The possibilities of the future is an awesome force. Who's ever felt that feeling before? You know, something happens, you get a customer, you talk to a potential distributor, or you sign up a distributor, and you're going to bring them to their first STS. And doesn't that down in your stomach and in your heart and in your head, doesn't that get you excited about the possibilities of what could potentially happen with them? Doesn't it? I don't care if it's a customer. I don't care if it's a distributor. You know, because a lot of our customers become distributors. We see the possibilities of the future. You guys got it? Okay. You're going to get somebody on the shakes and the tea and the aloe. The possibilities of the future of what could happen to them on the products. Guess what? They could be your next president's team member. Just because they got freaking locked in, clean green on the products. You guys know how much money you would have made in the last, for those of y'all that are old enough, by the way, but in the last 30 years, if you signed me up. If you gave me a sample of the products in 1985, and I fell in love with them, how much money would you have made over the last 25, 30 years by signing me up? Do you have any idea? I don't have an idea either, but I know you would have done pretty well for yourself. You would have. Just from royalties and bonuses for 30 freaking years. Now, by giving me a sample of the products, you wouldn't have known at the time that I might have turned into anything. You never know. That's what Mark Hughes says. You just never know. Right? Never been to college. Right? Never done any business before. Whatever. Long hair. That was back in the Joe Dirt days. Right? Yeah, long hair in the back, short in the front. Okay? I used to ride a motorcycle. My hair used to whip in the wind back here, the long part, the Joe Dirt part. Okay? I wasn't as bad as Joe Dirt, but I probably wasn't far off in some people's eyes. So you just never know what people are going to turn into and how things are going to turn out You know, people that get into Herbalife, they change, don't they? Don't they? Especially, I mean, starting with the products. Starting with the products. I was at the gym talking to a distributor that I signed up a couple months ago. She's a nurse and she's been studying for some, like her residency or something. I think that's what they call it. So she's studying. She's got 2 kids. The same story as a mom. Very, very busy. And she's working downtown now and working 12-hour shifts. And every time I see her, she's just like shaking her head like she's just done. You know what I mean? Like nurse life. I told her tonight, you know, I told her a few things. I told her about the kickoff that's coming, the big kickoff. And, but then we talked about a few other things. And I said, listen, I said, you don't need to go to any kickoff and talk about getting business and talk about getting customers and talk about building your social media following on Instagram. You don't need to do any of that unless you got some shakes running through your veins, unless you get locked in on the products. Because she's still not, she's like taking a few of them and stuff like that, but she just hasn't gotten her, groove yet. She hadn't gotten locked in where Herbalife is a way of life for her. They used to have back in the 80s, that used to be Herbalife's symbol. Had the big leaf, had Herbalife going across the top, and then underneath the bottom on the logo, I still got these old stickers from 1985. And underneath the bottom, that's when Herbalife had the big H, and the H would go underneath all the Herbalife words. That was their original logo. They had that, the leaf, and on the bottom, it said Herbalife, a way of life. Right? And so that stuff has always stuck with me. So how does Herbalife become a way of life? Well, we don't need to ever talk to any of our distributors about how to build a business, how to sponsor people, how to get customers, how to build their social media following, any of that, if they're not sucking down the shakes and the tea and the aloe and the cellulose and some products that's going to get them jacked up about life. You guys got me? You guys got me or no? Do this. What does Mark Hughes teach us? Do this, because I don't know if you just got what I said. So you got to do that. Acknowledge, especially on these things. Right? So that's what I told her, but she's excited now. She's like, okay, I got to get on. I got to order my stuff tomorrow night. I really got, because she's been getting on some stuff sporadically, but she's not locked into the shakes yet. She's not locked into our staple that a majority of our company was built on, which is our Formula One healthy meal. Right? And so anyway, I explained some things about that and whatever, told her about the training. And so now she's going to get locked in on it. And one of the things, and this is the good thing, and I learned this many moons ago, one of the many great things about this business, Herbalife, is today's a new day. It's always a new day. Doesn't matter what you did yesterday. Good, bad, or indifferent. Okay? Doesn't matter what you did last week. Good, bad, or indifferent. Doesn't matter what you did a month ago or in the last quarter of the year. Good, bad, or indifferent. If you had your blinders on, if you had your head down and your butt up, focused in the last quarter to set up the first quarter of this year, good for you. Right? Good for you. If you fell a little bit short on some days, good for you. No problem. It's not a problem. Because what can you do about November or December or October? Any of the days in October, November, December, can you go back and rewrite them? Can you go back and change anything that you did? No. So one of the things that I told her, and I wanted her to be clear on this, because see, I'm a distributor just like you guys are. And I've worked with so many people. John Tartle says this. Y'all know John Tartle, raise your hand. John Tartle, Mary's brother. He said after being in Herbalife for a while, it's almost like you should have your PhD in psychology. Dealing with different personalities, helping them through things, whatever. Sometimes you already know what your people are thinking just by their own body language, right? You can read people. You learn to read people, right? So one of the things that I told her is, here's the good news. Nobody's judging you. So just in case you're once in a while tripping in your head about what Monica thinks or about what I think about what you're doing or not doing, first of all, we're not. We're not thinking. We're not judging you. I says, I have empathy for you. I have many people that, like Stephanie, for example, full-time job, a lot of responsibility, kids, getting her bachelor's degree, getting her master's degree, all this stuff, but she still does Herbalife. I says, I really got empathy for you and for her and for people that are very, very, very busy. So I can't judge you in your life. I know you got 2 kids. I know you got a new job. I know you're studying for your residency, so it doesn't matter. So I wanted to make sure. Here's the big thing when you're working with your people, especially new people. I don't care if it's a customer. I don't care if it's a distributor, a potential distributor. I'm talking about a new relationship with someone. Sometimes your people will trip in their own head. They'll talk to themselves in their own head, and they'll start tripping about what they think you're thinking about them. You guys understand what I'm talking about? Have you ever done that? Not necessarily about what, it could be about thinking about what somebody else is thinking about you. You ever done that? You do that. People do that. How many times you think you're right about that? How many times you think you're right on point, that you got exactly, what everybody's thinking about you? You're probably not right all the time, are you? So the big thing with her, I wanted to make sure that we were clean slate. Nobody judge you. Whatever been doing or not been doing, it's great. It's great. But the great thing is there's always a new day. Always a new day where you can start fresh. You understand? Always a new day. And I told her Earl's story too. She hadn't been on these calls and stuff like that because she works on Wednesday nights and whatever the shift that is where you work during the night, second or third shift. And I told her Earl's story. I always give an analogy of somebody's story. I said, Earl, my top guy in Dallas, I said, for the first few months, he had a job out in Arlington, driving an hour to work, driving an hour at home at night, right? Little 6-month-old newborn child, and he couldn't come to the trainings because of this and because of that. And the wife's out of town. He had to take care of the kid and whatever. And I got it. I mean, I'm like, yeah, clear. Tough problem to solve. But what he did do was he lost 40 pounds. What he did do is lost 7 inches off his waist. He went on to lose 50 pounds. But in that first few months, lost 40 pounds. What he did do is he got off his high blood pressure medication. See, it would have been a different gig if for the first 3 and 4 and 5 months when he wasn't coming to trainings that he wasn't drinking the juice. What if he wasn't drinking shakes and he wasn't drinking products and he wasn't doing whatever, it would have been a totally different Earl, wouldn't it? But after losing 40 pounds, then whenever I would say this or what do we need to do here or what we need to solve this or we need to come to a training or we need to think about this, he was more receptive because he was becoming Herbalife, bleeding green. You guys got me? Because of the products. So we can never bypass this with any of our distributors and customers and whatever else. This is the special sauce right there. The products, all the products, whatever products that's going to help them achieve the things that they're, looking for. Does this make sense? Okay. How many of y'all last week when we talked about the extravaganza in July, looking at that as your ultimate goal, and boy, you guys know it. What's that? Snap your fingers. 2 90-day plans, and it's going to be the extravaganza. 2 90-day plans. I know y'all wrote this down last week, but write it down again with today's date. Repetition, repetition, repetition. I've been listening to personal development things over the last few weeks, and guess what? Guess what I do? I listen to them over and over, and some of them more than others. There's some that I've listened to 7 or 8 times, and every time I listen to it again, I'm like, oh my God. It feels like the first time I'm hungry to learn. Repetition, repetition, repetition. You hear it different on any given day, right? So y'all keep that in mind always whenever you're taking notes at any training, this training, any other training. Sure, even if you learned it say the same thing or learn the same thing that we learned last week or the week before. Write it down again, because that's this week, relevant this week. Okay? So how many of y'all got value from last week's call, and it kind of opened up your mind about what you should be focusing on the next 7 months as we march toward the extravaganza? Raise your hand. Okay? And if anybody didn't see that, and when I say see, these are video conferences, not audio conferences. That's the good news for all of us now. We used to do conference calls, and the conference calls were recorded. And see, on a conference call, you're like this. You're like this, talking, or you get your headphone on, talking. And you can't see all the people. You can't see their reaction. You can't see their engagement. You can't see if they're doing the laundry or interested or not interested or rolling their eyes or being happy or being sad. That's the great thing about video conference, because we're interactive now. It's like we're all in our living room together, right? Technology. So that's a great thing. So if there's ever a call, video conference that you miss, make sure that you watch it with undivided student mode attention, not background noise while you're making a cheese sandwich for the kids. You understand? And if you made a cheese sandwich for the kids, I'm not talking to you. Don't be thinking, how did he know that? That was just an analogy, right? Because some people, I throw out some things and they're like, who told them? I've been making cheese sandwiches, right? But you guys get the point. Don't listen to the stuff as background noise. Listen to the stuff as a student, because the more you learn, the more you earn. Who wants to earn? Raise your hand. Okay? So guess what the formula is? You gotta learn. You gotta learn. You gotta learn. Be hungry for knowledge. Okay? Now I know most of y'all know me and know me pretty well, and I wear different hats. I love Mary Holloway. She used to talk about this. I don't know if any of y'all have ever seen that, where she's on stage and she has a hat on, and especially like his mother's, right? You have different titles during the day, during the week, whatever. From such and such time until such and such time in the morning, when you're getting the kids ready for school, you got your mom hat on. You gotta get your lunch, you gotta get them off to school, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, right? You gotta be the mom. Other times, you might have to be the wife. You know, you gotta take care of things for the household. So now you gotta switch the hat, and there's, wife. The wife takes care of the household or whatever. Go shopping, if you fix dinner for your husband, whatever you do. But then when it's time for business, from whatever, if you're part-time, from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock for 3 or 4 hours during the day when the kids are at school and whatever, and you've already done your mom job and your wife job and your household duties. Now it's entrepreneur, or it's Herbalife distributor, or it's, business person, businesswoman. Now you got your businesswoman hat on. You guys understand that? Okay. Or if you go to the gym, you still got your businesswoman hat on, but you also got your fitness lifestyle hat on, because now you got to go work on your fitness. So you look the part, feel the part, etc. So at different points of the day or the week, you're kind of doing different responsibilities. You wear a different hat. Does that make sense? Does that make sense, everybody? So here's the point. I got different hats that I wear too. And I got different personalities during the day and during the week too. Just like you do. Right? But on this video conference, what hat am I wearing? Talk to me. That was the question. What hat am I wearing on this video conference?
Leadership and business hat.
Leadership and business, baby. I was just doing leg press an hour ago. I wasn't leadership and business. I was leg press, beast mode. And I come home, but already, for an hour. I didn't listen to any music tonight. I listened to personal development during my workouts, and I never do that. I'm not in the habit of doing that. I'm a music person, okay? But I've been just hungry for it. Y'all know that. I told y'all that a few weeks ago. I've just been hungry I'm hungry right now to learn and to be inspired by millionaires. So I've been listening to a lot of personal development type stuff. So when I get on the call here tonight, you know, I want y'all to be hungry. And for some of y'all that know my goofy side, you know, when we're at the club and yelling and dancing and screaming and having a good old time together, or we're at the champions dinner and we're making jokes, hey, that's time to have a good time, right? That's part of what we do too. But when we got our business hat on, I want y'all to have your business hat on too and take advantage of information that's given to you, shared with you, whatever. Does this make sense? Okay? Because see, it's been said so many times, like if you go to a leadership development weekend or you go to an STS or you go to the extravaganza, here's what you're going to get out of it. Here's what you're going to get out of it. You're going to get out of it as much as what you put into it. Y'all know what I mean by that too. I don't need to explain, but I'm going to explain just because of the analogy. Imagine how many of y'all are committed Herbalife distributors? Like for the long, you're in it long. If you ain't raising your hand, you better get off the call. Okay, that was a joke. I don't want you to get off the call. But if you're not in it long, then guess what? Come on. So if you're in this business, you're a committed Herbalife distributor. But let's say we're going to go to the kickoff training like this.
I can't see.
Right? Like dreading it. Like, oh, another training. Oh, what they got to tell me this time? What's different this time? And the whole training, you're thinking about what a loser you were in November. You guys got what I'm saying? I'm throwing out an analogy. I'm not saying any of y'all were losers in November. Disclaimer. Throwing out an analogy because a lot of people are thinking about what did or didn't happen 2 months ago. About the distributor that never was. Oh, I signed up somebody and then the person disappeared. And the whole training, they're thinking about that one person from November. You guys see the difference? You're going to get from the training what's shared with you, what's being handed to you on a silver platter. You're going to get whatever you bring to the table. Where are you at in your head and in your heart? Are you a sponge? By the way, it says my internet is unstable. Am I breaking up at all? Hello?
I keep seeing a phone pop up and then you disappear.
There's a 601 number, like there's a beep.
Monica, undo your, put your thing in plane mode. I'm going to do the same with mine. Hopefully I won't. Was I breaking up at all? Can y'all hear me? Hello? Sam can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
I don't know
Yes.
if I paused, if I broke up. I don't know what happened. I had an unstable connection. Did y'all get everything that I was
You're
saying?
fine on my end.
What?
No,
I can hear you.
Someone just dialed in, that's all.
Oh, I got you. Okay, because everything here was like frozen. I didn't know if y'all didn't hear a word I said or what. Somebody remind me where I was at. Oh, of when you go to the kickoff, depending on what head frame you're in, is depending on how much is we're gonna have Dennis Dowdell at the training here in Dallas, for example. And every kickoff is gonna have great speakers, right? They could give the best. I mean, you could have Mark Hughes there, but if you've got your arms crossed, what are you gonna give me now? What's different now? And you're still worried about what happened in November and December, and you're thinking about the dogs and the cats at home and whatever, what are you going to get from the training? Not much.
Nothing.
Because of where you are in your head and in your heart. Meaning, you got to be ready to receive. You got to be an open vessel like a sponge ready to receive. So that's what I'm talking about being hungry to learn. So be hungry to learn on this environment here. Be hungry to learn when you go to STSs and Herbalife events, kickoffs, and LDWs and extravaganzas. You got to be so freaking hungry. I'm going to tell you one thing right now, and I learned all this from Mark Hughes. I didn't like come up with it on my own. Learned it all from Mark Hughes, and over the last decade, over the last quarter of a century, it's been reinforced by all the leaders that I've learned from inside of Herbalife at all the events that I've gone to. You guys know how many countries I've seen Mark Hughes in? Live? A bunch. Too many to mention. Right? So, in one trait that I always had, and it always stuck with me, Mark Hughes always talked about, make sure that your butt is in that seat taking notes. And I'm telling you, we drink stuff, shakes and teas and whatever else, and sometimes you're in your seat and you got to go to the bathroom. I can't tell you how many times I had to go to the bathroom, especially in training. Stuff like these. Seems like I'm going to the bathroom a lot more in training than I do at home. But you're at the table drinking a lift off and all this stuff. So there's a lot of times when Susan Peterson's on stage or somebody else is on stage and you're like, geez, I really got to go to the bathroom, but I don't want to miss nothing, So you'd be sitting there for 20 minutes like with your legs crossed, being a good student. You got to be like that, is what I'm saying. You don't miss a thing. If you're a supervisor, world team member, get team member, and you're at an extravaganza LDW, wandering the halls and just being casual about the training, oh, man. Woo. Don't make that mistake. So you see the difference when you go to a training or you get in whatever learning, teaching environment. You want to show up. You want to be there. You want to show up. You want to be there so you get the most out of it. Even like what we're talking about here tonight on the video conferences. You guys got me on that? Does that make sense? Be a sponge. Be hungry. Have gratitude that you're even able to be there. That you've been given this opportunity to be there. Right? How do you think that's going to work out for you in your business, in your endeavors? Walking into that type of stuff with that mindset, with that attitude. What do you think? It's going to work out better for you than the latter is if you walk in casual. Because guess what? What do they say about casualness? Somebody tell me. Casualness what?
Casualty.
Casualness breeds casualty. What does that mean? Casualties of war. In war, you get wounded, you get killed. That's a casualty. Being wounded or killed. So you can't be casual about your business. You can't be casual about learning. You can't be casual about video conferences. You can't be casual about the STSs, kickoffs, LDWs, or extravaganzas. No. This stuff is given to you on a silver platter. What you do with it, how you show up, how you represent yourself for you, your family, your business, and your future business, existing and future business, that's in your control. So what I'm saying is, write it down, control it. Control it. Be jacked to the max in like a child that can't wait for Christmas about your next kickoff and your next STS and your next LDW and your next extravaganza. How do you think that'll work out for you if you have that mindset about your learning, teaching, training, inspirational environment? I just listened to the thing on the way home tonight about environment. What if you hang around people that got chicken pox and Ebola virus? What do you think is going to happen to you over time? You're going to be diagnosed. Chances are, if you're hanging around with a crowd of people that has Ebola virus, what are the chances? Unless you're like chewing on a best defense 24/7 and some other things, what are the chances? Chances are you're going to come down with the virus because of your environment. That's on a bad example. What could happen bad to you about hanging in the wrong environments for too long? Okay? So what happens on the good side if you're around good environments? They're there to teach you, train you, support you, educate you, inspire you, give you wisdom, give you a plan of action, right? Give you courage, give you belief, give you vision. What if you're constantly involved in those types of environments? What do you think the chances are for you of having success? What? They go through the roof. They go through the roof, whether you like it or not. Through osmosis, it's going to rub off on you. Even if you're resistant to it, if you keep coming, even if you keep coming like this, before long, you're going to be like this, yelling with everybody else standing on your chairs. You can't help it because you're a product of your environment. It rubs off on you. So what I'm saying is close the learning gap, and just be that hungry student, be that hungry leader. Look at yourself already as a president's team member and show up that way, act that way, have the mindset of a president's team member. When we have our business hat on, let's be serious about learning. When we have our joke-telling hat on, let's tell the jokes with the best of them and have a great time and have fun, because there's a time for everything, right? I mean, we can't have this conversation 24/7, but we can have it once a week. You guys got me? If we talk about it 24/7, it's like, ooh, this is getting too heavy. And never told a joke, never made you laugh, never had any fun. It's like, you know what I mean? That's no fun. One of the best ways to learn is through funny stories too, funny analogies, right? Isn't it? Y'all ever been with a trainer that makes you laugh once in a while? Yeah. Isn't that the best way to learn? Yes, because it breaks the heaviness of it. Gotta be entertaining too with the way that you learn. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because here's the long and the short. Write it in your notes. Don't take anything for granted that's handed to you. Don't take anything for granted that's handed to you. Video conference, one-on-one mentoring, shake parties, all the little subtle things too. If your sponsor's willing to invest their time and energy in you, with you, you know, because that takes a lot, doesn't it? Anybody ever worked with their downline? Especially if their downline's not on the same wavelength mentally as you. It takes mental energy to work with them at the level that they're at, even though that you're many steps forward, because now you kind of got to bring it down, because already knowing that they're not, so you got to kind of talk in language that they can understand. If they haven't been plugged in very long, or if they're too fresh or too new. You guys got me? So there's this constant juggling act, which takes thought, energy, right? So you got to be able to do that. Know who you're working with. Have empathy with those new people. Tell them, I know how you feel. Feel, felt, found. I understand how you feel. I used to feel the same way. I felt the same way. Let me tell you what I found, though. The more trainings I went to, the more I hung around my sponsor, the more I was engaged, the more I took the products, the more of this, the more of that, the more belief, the more vision, the more excited, the more I was teachable, and the more I was a student, the more I realized what I didn't know. And then it will give you the power to tell the person that you don't know what you don't know. And by the way, if you already knew everything and had everything figured out, then you wouldn't even need my assistance right now. So since we both know that, let's buckle down. Let's be teachable. I asked my distributor in the gym tonight, whenever we started talking about whatever, then it kind of went over here, and then it kind of went over here. And I'm going, hold on, let's reboot for a minute. I really said this. I said, hold on just a minute, let's reboot. Let me ask you one thing, because I was telling her about the shakes. And then it was, but this and but that, and I don't want to have extra calories in my diet because of this. And I've already told her 2 or 3 times, don't worry about that. And I told her why, and I told her what the shakes do and whatever. And so instead of repeating that again, I said, hold on just a minute. I got it. I understand where you're at. I said, let me just ask you something. Are you teachable? Are you teachable? She goes, yes. I go, great. are you, there was two other things that I asked. I said, are you teachable? I said, then I confirmed it. Are you coachable? I says, and are you willing to learn? And are you willing to be mentored? I literally asked those, but not in a where you push somebody up against the wall and don't give them a back door. Don't you know what I mean? I say everything that I say in an, oh, by the way, non-threatening delivery. Yeah, hold on just a minute. Before we talk about, are you teachable? Are you coachable? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing to be mentored? Because I remember back in the very beginning when she first came to our club, and I told her that I mentor people, and she says, I want to be mentored. I remember that from 3 months ago. So that I touched on that today. Are you willing to be mentored? Do you want to be mentored by me? And yes. I go, okay. So let me just share with you. I've been using these shakes since 1985. Get your calculator. How many years is that? Okay. That's a few years. Okay. I know what the shakes do. I know what they don't do. If you're willing to be teachable and learn to be mentored, then listen, you're worrying about stuff that doesn't need to be worried about, because here's what it is. So see, you don't need to go down these long roads with people sometimes. You can just, hold on just a minute. Let's stop. Let's reboot for a minute. And then what did we talk about last week and the week before about kind of re-identifying or reassessing where a person is at? That wasn't the correct language that we used last week. What was it that we talked about? Like, I mean, that's the bottom line. Reassessing, reevaluating. They don't know you're reevaluating them. People don't like to be evaluated. You guys got what I'm saying? So you don't say, stop everything. Let me evaluate you. Let me evaluate you and your situation before I waste any more of my precious time. That's not what you're saying. So make sure that you don't communicate it that way. So I never said that. Don't you ever say that. But what you're doing is you're reevaluating the situation before you make any more, because I don't need to say 200 calories in the shakes again, and that all calories aren't created equal, and that your body's like a sponge and it burns up the calories anyway. I don't need to say that, do I? Because I already said it 3 times in the past. What I do need to say is reevaluate. Are you coachable, teachable? Do you want me to mentor you? And I pushed a button about, do you want me to mentor you? Because I know from 3 months ago, her body language, she said, I want you to please mentor me. Because I said, I mentor people, because she was like, what do you do? I go, well, I do a lot of things. But one of the things I do is I teach people this business, part-time, full-time, and I help them and I mentor people like that. You know, just soft. No, I'm a mentor. No, I mentor people and I teach people, but also, you know, yell and scream at the fit camps and the dance fits and have fun. And, you know, so we do a lot of things. But one of the things I do is mentor people. I want to be mentored. So I knew that was a button pusher. You guys got the example? And by the way, if she's watching this later on the thing, hopefully you're taking this in the right. But I love using real life things as an example, because you got to just kind of understand where people are at. And again, I used Earl's story to share where he was at too. Can't blow people out of the water, because the possibilities of the future is an awesome force, and you got to let things play out the way they're going to play out and be there for them, you know, when it's the right time for them. I know I don't have a chance in HELL of her having a successful business unless she goes to the kickoff. Now, if she's got 112 degree temperature and she's got the flu and misses the kickoff, once the kickoff is completely over with, guess what? She's still got another shot.
Because there's another train.
There's always a new day. She can come to the SDS in February, but I can guarantee you one thing. It ain't going to be as big. It ain't going to be regional. And Dennis Dowdell won't be there. So it will be different, because Dennis Dowdell is the bomb the bomb diggity bomb of all bombs. Personal development, philosophy of life. Dude, it's the closest you're ever gonna get to seeing some Jim Rohn, but with like power. It's like he's in his 60s, but he's got more energy than me. He's got more energy than you. He's got more energy than you, Brandon, and he's in his 60s. A legend.
Man, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a personal story. He was my first person in my first SDS. Within 10 minutes, he had me crying from stories. So, yeah, he's very impactful, and he's a wonderful person. So just from the stage, you can tell by his demeanor just who he is. So, and being in Herbalife, everyone's great. So,
Absolutely. Earl.
Yeah, Dennis Dowdell. I was talking to Glenn about this because there's a story. A lot of you guys may know that there's a guy named Cody Morrow. He came to the club to see Glenn. I can't remember when it was, but anyway, Glenn hooked me up, allowed me to get a guy a ride, and Cody Morrow is a legend in the company as well. He's living in Fort Worth now, and basically, let me tell you how big this guy is. First thing, he's on the video. Mark Hughes talks about him on the video. There's a year that when they was starting, when Mark Hughes was around, they made $400,000 in the business. It's like it's documented on Mark Hughes is talking about these guys. Then found out that Dennis Dowdell, they signed up with Dennis Dowdell because Cody Morrow's wife was selling him this big mansion, and he was wearing this button. Okay, and he's wearing this button. And this guy is basically a legend in the company. So basically at the time, he was buying a mansion because of Herbalife. And then they became president team members directly under him and signed up under him. So this guy is the guy that's going to be at the training. That's how big this is. And Cody Morrow, this is tell you how big Cody Morrow is. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Big, how big. Yeah, I'm driving in a car with this guy. I'm like, well, tell me about how you built the business and all this kind of stuff. He's like, yeah, so how much is international? Because I'm interested in building an international team, right? And he's like, yeah, like we're in Korea. Actually, I think all of Korea is under us, actually. Like, what did you just say? Like,
Korea?
Korea.
Did you say Korea?
Yeah, Korea, yeah. He's like, I think Korea is under. I said, for me right now, that's like me saying, yeah, I got somebody in Prosper right now. This guy. I'm just saying how big. So they're under this guy. So the guy that's speaking at January kickoff to Bar, that's their sponsor. So their sponsor has Korea under them, right? That's just a portfolio, right? A portfolio of their business. All right, so you got this guy. That's why I'm super excited. I'm super pumped up about meeting him because he's on the videos. Mark Hughes. He's extremely huge into personal development, and I've just been talking with Monica, and that's what I've been working on. A lot of personal development, putting in the work. So I'm super excited about meeting this guy. And that's going to help a lot more people, man, get into this event, doing breakthroughs and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Do y'all know Doran and Amico, Dante Andre, the twins, all of them? All of them is underneath Dennis Dowdell. Now, they're not all first line, but they're all in their organization. So he's got, I can't remember how many President's Team members, but it's in the hundreds of President's Team members. And the amount of business is something like in the hundreds of millions per year. Like in infinite. Again, it's not first level, but y'all just understand in the entire organization. It's sick. And this guy, again, he's in his 60s and stuff like that. And he's like he just signed up 6 months ago. He's so excited. Always excited. Every time he comes up and hugs me, about breaks me. So I always got to brace myself. So from now on, I see him coming, and I tell my, like Earl does. I start growling because I don't want him to catch me limp and then crack me because he's like, ugh, you know what I mean? So from now on, I grab him and I slap him on the back. I say, "You want to play that game? I'll play." I'm ready now. Whenever I see him, I'm ready. You know, so that's going to be incredible.
I just want to say one more thing. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll just say, I know for me, when it comes to environment, I want to get as much into the concentration of Herbalife as much as possible. Just like we got the herbal aloe concentrate, right? You just drink it by itself. That's the pureness of it, right? But then you gotta, mix it with water. But you want to get close to the concentration of the company. That's where I'm at. I mean, I want as much as the concentration of the company. You got a guy these people are legends, and you get to learn from legends. This is a time where we're still able to get that. And Glenn just finished talking about the osmosis, being in the association, just being in a room will change. I know it's going to change my life. It will change yours, and that's what is extremely important. So I'm amped up about it, definitely.
No doubt. So obviously on a lot of this stuff, guys, here's the deal, and I know this. I'm preaching to the choir, to you guys here tonight. I know that y'all know this, and I know that y'all are excited about the kickoff and whatever. This ain't just about the kickoff, though, is it? This ain't about the kickoff. This is about teaching you guys where you need to be in your head about whatever's given to you in terms of training, support, environment, whatever. Again, whether it's the video conference, whether it's an STS, whether it's any event, whether it's your sponsor investing time in you. You notice how I said investing, not spending. When your sponsor invests time in you, or a sideline invests time with you, whatever the case may be. Just walk into those situations with ready to learn. Put your business hat on. Because guys, Susan Peterson says it. By the way, she's made $120 million in Herbalife, and she got into Herbalife only wanting to make an extra $500 to $1,000 a month. So when she says it, it's kind of like when E.F. Hutton talks. Remember that commercial? People listen. Y'all always remember that. When E.F. Hutton talks, people listen. Okay? So Susan Peterson says, this is a serious business. Sometimes it might not seem so when people are wearing buttons and being goofy and doing whatever. But when it's time to be serious, it's time to be serious. Raise your hand if you think making $10,000 a month for the rest of your life is serious business. All right, that's what's at stake here. That's what's at stake here for you. Okay? Keep that in mind always. When you don't feel like getting on a video conference, let me tell you something. If you don't feel like getting on a video conference, you better turn off the TV. You better turn off the news. You better check the environment that you've been associating yourself with that's got your thinking all jacked up. Really? Look at this. See this right here? Short pants. See this? See that? Sandals with my socks that I just came from the gym. Okay? Put on a fresh shirt. I put on a fresh pair of shorts. Okay? I don't got to go down to the local hotel in a suit and a tie on a Wednesday night. Got my hat. All y'all got your hats. All of y'all are pretty much in your living rooms. You could even be on your phone somewhere if you're in a quiet place. So we got to get real sometimes with the things that we do want to do or don't want to do. You guys understand what I'm saying? Okay. Again, I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know there's some of y'all that wouldn't miss a Wednesday night call. I know there's some of y'all that wouldn't miss a Wednesday night call. By the way, I know there's some of you that can't help but miss one once in a while. Have other things, and then you listen to them on the line. So I'm not, I don't want anybody to get their feelings hurt like I'm talking to you like if you missed one or two because you had a family situation or you got the kids or you got church or you got whatever that happened. As long as you listen to it the next day and don't make it a habit of not missing these. What you're going to need to do, I'm going to tell you. Y'all want me to tell you what you need to do? Here's what I would, and remember, this is under the context of making $10,000 a month. You guys got me? making $10,000 a month minimum for the rest of your life in Herbalife, y'all think y'all would love Herbalife even more? You'd be getting buttons that don't just say, I love Herbalife. You'd be getting buttons that say, I freaking love Herbalife. We should actually make a button like that. Good idea. I freaking love Herbalife. Okay? Or whatever. $10,000 a month for a lot of people is a lot of money. It was a lot of money for us before we had ever made it too. But if we started making 10 grand a month now, your perspective changes. You're like, damn, we got to step our game up. We're sliding. You guys got me? Your perspective changes on that measuring stick of success called money. But for most people, 10 grand a month is serious. So here's what I'm saying, human beings. By the way, this is for you. This is for your existing people. This is for your future people. Philosophy. Philosophy will change your business. Philosophy will change your life. Your personal philosophy is the way that you think and feel about things. That's your personal philosophy about business, about Herbalife, about coming on a video conference, about going to a kickoff, whatever, your personal philosophy. So again, and this is what, by the way, what Monica had told Earl in the beginning about wearing his button or about going to trainings. This could be a universal concept about using the products, about wearing the brand every day. Because even if you don't have an organization yet, you got to lead from the front for the organization that you're going to have. You got to develop the stories and the experience for the people that you're going to have. So one day when you got somebody that's like, you know, maybe not wearing the brand yet, maybe not using the products yet, you can say, listen, I understand how you feel, whatever. I felt the same way. Let me tell you what I found. It took me a couple of weeks to get my shirt orders in. It took me a couple of weeks to find the button in the IBP. It took me, well, maybe my sponsor had to tell me that there was a button in the IBP. I didn't even know there was one in there because when I got the IBP, I threw it over in the corner. I just took the samples out of there and I didn't look in anything else. It could have been an honest thing. I didn't see the button. You know, or it could have been a thing. I ain't wearing that damn button. I ain't putting that satellite dish on me. I'm too cool. Oh no. Okay. It could be anything, right? But the point is if you're not doing these things, right? If you're not like blinders on, if you're, you know, not getting this stuff under your belt, the true basics of what it takes to be an Herbalife distributor, then what's going to happen when you do sign up a distributor? What in the HELL value are you going to be able to bring to them in terms of your own personal knowledge and experience and authenticity? That's my question. You guys see that? You guys see that? So you got to be able to, and this is how you stand tall and build a business on rock, not sand. You guys understand? Because if you're authentic, if you're truly bleeding green, if you're truly herbalized, if you're truly grateful for this business, for what's handed to you on a silver platter, if you look forward to getting on the Wednesday night call. Wow, there's a concept. First is, oh, get on that call again and see what these people got to say. Well, that's a heck of a way to approach things. There's reasons why people become successful, and there's reasons why other people get stuck. And I'm going to tell you one of the reasons why people get stuck is because of their own personal philosophy. Hands down. They could get on tonight's call, and nothing happens in their life. Because why? Because they came kicking and screaming. Oh, I got to get on this call. And then they got freaking the news playing in the background. That's, you know, they're like this. What happened? Oh, a forest fire. Oh, an apartment building fire. Oh, a wreck. Oh, a cop got shot. Oh, a baby, something happened. Oh, something happened wherever. You guys got me? And they're not even on. It could be, and then they could be your distributor. You guys got what I'm saying? I know you guys got what I'm saying. I know you do. But you got to get this philosophy so ingrained in you that it now perpetuates inside of your people. Because when you have it in you, you will be able to perpetuate that philosophy and that feeling inside of others. You'll be able to speak from the heart. And what does Garen Jones say about that? What comes from the heart goes into the heart. If you can speak from the heart, it's going to go into their heart with good intentions from you. The language will come out correctly. They will receive it correctly. You will be a leader. You'll be able to beat your chest, and people will want to follow you. Hello? It's simple. Come kicking and screaming to a Wednesday night call. Come kicking and screaming to the kickoff, to the STS, to the extravaganza, to the LDW. Don't you be complaining to me or your sponsor that you can't sign up people. You guys got it? It's so easy. Change your mindset, change your life. Write it down. Oh, I wrote that down in November. Garen Jones said it. I wrote it down. Well, find it. Where is it? You lost it. It's in the other room. Write it down again. Change your mindset, change your life. Change your belief system. Change your habits. Because all that stuff starts changing your habits. Change your philosophy. I know what I was going to say a minute ago, and then we'll end on that. Okay? So, I don't know if y'all can read this. Can y'all read that? What does that say?
Priorities.
Okay, priorities. Here's what I want y'all to do. You don't have to do it now, but get a today, either on the call or after the call. Priorities. And what did we talk last week? You got to write the stuff down. Can't keep it up in your head. Remember, Garen teaches this, free up space in your head, just like you free up space on your phone. You've only got so much storage. And if you got so much freaking crap up here, you got no room for new stuff, new good stuff that's going to impact your business in 2018. Now, remember, it's still the new year, right? Everybody's so excited about the new year, new you, new year's resolutions. Oh, 2018 is going to be my year, all this stuff, right? And by the way, congratulations that y'all didn't post that nonsense on Facebook. And I don't mean nonsense because it's not nonsense. So don't take me wrong. But we were kind of under the umbrella last year. If you want to have a great 2018, start in September. You want to have a great, declare it in September. Declare it in October. Don't declare it on January 1st. That's how you have a great 2018 is by setting up the year in the last 4 months of the last year. You guys get the philosophy? But anyway, congratulations that on January 1st, I didn't see a bunch of Facebook posts from y'all. This is my year. Okay? Those Facebook posts should have been in September and October. 2018 is going to be my year. So right now, I got blinders on. Right now, I got my head down and my butt up. Right now, no distractions. You guys got me? So when it comes to anything, what Jim Rohn says, the half a dozen things or so that make the majority of the difference in your business and in your life, in your business, in Herbalife, there's only about a half a dozen that are going to really make the majority of the difference to get you to $10,000 a month. You guys understand that? And I'm not going to spend a bunch of time on that tonight because we're coming towards the end of the call. It's going to be an hour and a half. We're already at 9:30. Okay? But what I do want you to do is sometimes you got to reprioritize your priorities. Write that down. You have to reprioritize your priorities. So write that down. I'm going to write it too. If I can spell it. Prior. Easier to type than it is to write with a pen, I've noticed lately. Like when you do something on the computer. So you got to reprioritize. So for example, let's say last year, 2017, or even 2016, the last year, the last 2 years, let's say your top, write it down, 2, 3, 4, 5. We'll just go with 5. You might have 15, but just go with 5 to make it simple. Put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, and I want y'all to do this exercise after we get off the call, because again, we don't have 30 minutes for you to do it now. So for example, let's say that in we'll just use the example as 2017, Your number one priority, I'm just going to throw this out as just hypotheticals and stuff like that. Let's say I'm a mother, whatever. My number one priority is what? What was the question?
Kids.
Kids. My kids. I've got 2 kids, little kids, whatever kids. They're my number one priority. Okay. Number 2, this is 2017. My number 2 priority, because I'm such a good, loving wife and I took that vow, is what?
Husband.
Husband. Take care of him, cook him dinner, go shopping for him, clean his socks. Whatever he says, I'll do. You getting on that video conference again on Wednesday night? Not if you don't want me to. You understand? Whatever he says, you're going to do. Because he's your priority. So he's your number 2 priority after your kids. Number 3, these are hypotheticals. These are hypotheticals. Number 3, we're in the Bible Belt over here. Where are we at? Your faith. Whatever your religious beliefs are, your faith. We're in the Bible Belt. That's a big deal over here. It's a big deal everywhere, but especially a big deal in the Bible Belt. Your faith. Okay? Okay, and then, oh, how convenient. Number 4, what's that? Can you all read
Health.
it? Health. Number 4 is your health, your own health. No problem, but that's just how you got it prioritized. And then, okay, I've done enough. What's number 5? What could be one of your priorities in 2017? We're talking a hypothetical from last year, and then I'm going to teach you how to do something this year. What would number 5 be? Anybody? I've already named off kids, husband, faith, health, finances. No? Is that usually in the top 5? Get my finances figured out? Right? Finances. All right. So, now, I'll see that. And y'all can write that down if you want, or you can go back and listen later if you can actually take me twice in a row. So this is a hypothetical, but this is probably not too far off, depending on the order of what a lot of people's priorities are, correct? Yes or no? Okay, hold on. I'm going to reboot for a minute. Is everybody still breathing? Is everybody okay?
Yep.
Give me some of this. We're almost done. Okay? Everybody give me a smile. Your best smile. That's better. Sam, I didn't see you smile. There, you gave me some teeth. All right. Now, if we want to get to $10,000 a month, and this is the year to build the foundation to do it, right? Does anybody see anywhere on there where we might need to reprioritize some things? Anybody? Yes or no? Nod your head. If you agree, say yes. If you don't agree, say no. Everything's in perfect order to get to 10 grand a month.
Oh.
Are you guys with me or no? It's hard for me to tell if y'all are with me because y'all are muted and whatnot. Okay, I need to make sure. So here's the deal, guys. We all agreed that this is a serious business, right? Do this. Keep doing this. Mark Hughes taught us, don't do it twice. Do it as long as it takes whenever somebody's training. Okay? So if we reprioritize this to help us reach our goal to get to $10,000 a month inside of the Herbalife structure, yes or no, do you think we might need to reprioritize some of these things? Like put them on orders or something like that?
Glenn, you're away from the mic or something.
I'm right here in front of the mic.
You need to move the your
Like as soon as you
pad
put
to
when you put the paper up, you go away from the mic.
Really? That's crazy. Okay, then I'll stop doing this.
Yeah. You see it, we
I'm
got it.
sorry. Thank you for speaking up and telling me that. Can you hear me okay now?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that to get to 10 grand a month on any of those top 5 prioritize, do you think that we might reprioritize a few things? Yes or no?
Yes, we need to be prioritize. Yes.
Everybody?
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
now listen, here's what's important.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Oh, I love the interaction. This is amazing. For real. It's like, I hate not hearing anything because y'all are muted. So check this out. Here's the important thing. I shouldn't do that. Jeez. If number 1 moves to number 3, you don't need to have a freaking heart attack that CPS is going to come get your kids. You know what CPS is? Brandon, CPS is Child Protective Services.
I don't have kids.
Kids don't know what that stuff is. If you ever had your kids taken away from you, you know what CPS is.
But I have my future kids I have to worry about.
So check this out. Now listen, this is very important philosophy. So all you mamas out there, don't start tripping. You understand? You don't need to start tripping. Okay? I don't care if it's kids, husband, faith, health, finance. When we say reprioritize, it just means that maybe number 1 needs to take the number 3 spot in 2018. And maybe the number 3 spot needs to take the 2 spot, and number 2 needs to take the 4 spot, and number 4 needs to take the 7 spot. Because there could be 10 priorities. You guys understand what I just said? Reprioritizing doesn't mean that they're not a priority, because they're still on the darn priority list. Does that make sense? They're still a priority. Now, by the way, this could be a secret list. It could. Exactly. You don't, because guess what? If your children and your husband wasn't on tonight's call, they might not understand if they just got dropped 3 nights. They don't understand they're still priority. Hold on a minute. You telling me that Glenn in those conference calls is more important than me? No. They don't understand the context. But I want you guys to know, just because you're reprioritizing doesn't mean that they're not a priority. There used to be things in my life that were priority. But when Monica and I decided that, by golly, we're going to get from this, let me phrase it correctly. I'll just say it nicely. We're going to get from this GET team to the president's team. I had that GET team for 5 years. I understand what disgust feels like about being stuck in a position. It's just like, oh, got to get off this, especially when all the people that are around you feels like they're moving, right? So it's like, right? So the point is you got to start reprioritizing some things that used to be priority number 1 on the list. And I'm telling you, one of them was lifting weights, because I've been doing that since I was 13 years old. Like, I got serious in it when I was 13, because I was a little guy, and I wanted to show up to school the following year, and nobody was going to mess with this little guy because they was going to see them triceps walking down the hallway. And my plan worked, because I didn't get messed with, because I was a weightlifter. Woo, nobody wanted to mess with me. Those were always my priorities: health, lifting weights, whatever. But in Herbalife, when I'm on the GET team, am I going to spend 6 days a week in the gym, 3 hours a day? You guys understand? Not if I want to get to the president's team, and not unless I'm signing up 3 or 4 people when I'm at the gym. Like, if I'm like doing good at that and it's advancing my business, then that's one thing. So what I ended up doing, I'm just saying this is what I did then as an analogy. I'm not telling y'all to do this, or I'm just giving you a life experience here. My lifting weights, going to the gym, fell down on the priority list. Everything that was going to facilitate us getting to the president's team went to the top of the list. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Okay? Events, going to events, getting on calls, doing structures for the organization. By the way, having a lead program so we can have people to talk to, customers, distributors, whatever, you know, just all out massive action was at the top of the list. If anybody's ever seen my picture from 1999, you understand that I gave up weightlifting. boy, your perspective changes because looking back on it, it looks like I weighed about 32 pounds. I was a beanpole. You don't realize that when you're in it, but looking back at it, you're like, golly. But I know the feeling that I had was, listen, I'm going to now get rich, and we're going to get the money deal over with once and for all. And once we get the money deal over with, I'll go to the gym all I want. That was the philosophy. So the sacrifice was worth it. Reprioritizing, moving it up. Instead of going to the gym, I bought weights and I worked out when I could at home as much as I could. I still did movement. Not like you would at the gym because you got all the equipment, but you still do some movement. So what I'm saying to you guys in 2018, y'all need to reprioritize some things. Because if you're still working off the same priority list as you had last year, and it didn't help you get closer to 10 grand a month, then I'm saying reprioritize some things. It doesn't mean that you're going to have to take things off that priority list as a whole. They just might need to move down a few notches and move the more important things up so you can get it over with once and for all. Does this make sense? Yes? So let's do that. And I need y'all to do that tonight. Don't wait. No more procrastination. You got to change your habits, guys. If you procrastinate, and we're all guilty of procrastinating, I am, you are, everybody is. But don't wait. Train yourself differently. Approach the business differently this year. Every approach that you make will yield a different return. You guys understand that? You got to start approaching things differently. Change your philosophy. Change your mindset. Change your life. Approach things differently with a different mindset. Start walking, talking, acting, thinking, and having vision and belief like a president's team member. And I'm telling you, it won't be long. Just a few sets of 90-day plans. You know, 8 90-day plans is 2 years. You could do 8 90-day plans and be wearing the diamonds. How do I know that? Because I've seen a bunch of people do it. A bunch of people are proving that you can do it in 2 years. Now, that doesn't mean that you just signed up today, because some of y'all signed up a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago. So it doesn't mean that it took you 2 years. It means it took you 4 years. Bob got there in 4 years. Y'all can be Bob, can't you? Can't y'all be Bob? Come on. I mean that in a funny way, okay? So all I'm saying is you got to reprioritize some things for the year to look different. You got to do something different, and it starts with prioritizing. It starts with having a seize of the moment attitude. It starts with having your blinders on so you don't get distracted from the noise over here or the noise over there. You got to be an Herbalife Terminator with your blinders on. You don't got to be an Herbalife Terminator with your blinders on to make $500 a month. Remember, I'm talking in the context of $10,000 a month or more. How many of y'all would think that you hit the freaking lottery if you're making $20,000 a month for the rest of your life? You understand? Y'all got to get really, really understanding of how real this is. Because the big money in Herbalife has not been made yet. I know that's hard to believe, but think about the next 10 and 20 years, about where this thing is going to grow. You're at the right place at the right time. You got the right leadership. You've got everything that it takes inside of you. You do. You understand? You just might need to just fine-tune it and adjust it, and we all have to do that. Fine-tune it, adjust it, fine-tune it, adjust it, every day, every week, reflect, prioritize, reprioritize, reevaluate. You got to do that. Okay? But Chica, don't do so much self-analysis that it leads to paralysis. Self-analysis, too much of it leads to paralysis. Get out of your head, get out of your head thinking, by the way, I'm not talking to Chica, okay? I'm talking to all of y'all. I just saw her face like this, so I wanted to get her attention back here, okay? So I'm just talking to myself and to everybody. Get out of your head and into your heart. Get out of your head and into other people's hearts. Don't spend mental energy thinking about what other people are thinking of you, whether it's your sponsor, your upline, your downline, your sideline, or your potential customers or distributors. Don't be tripping on things that aren't true. Because a lot of times you make up your own little fantasies and your own little stories in your head, and it's not even close. I'll give you an example. We had a distributor that was so close to us, connection is unstable. Am I okay? I'm okay? Just a little analogy here, and Monica remembers this, okay? She's not going to be on this call, and none of y'all know her, so I can just say her name, Meredith. Her name was Meredith. And she was second level to us, a GET team member, and she went over to France for a long time and whatever. And then she came back to Colorado and had a nutrition club. And she was instrumental in helping Monica and I get to the president's team. It was her idea, in part, to have shirts made that said Glenn and Monica for Prez when we were on our Prez team run. So, I mean, she was really close to us. She went on vacations with us, team organization vacations, etc. Just a real sweet girl and stuff. She comes back from France after about 5 or 6 years in France, and she starts doing a nutrition club and whatever. And she was a little flighty, meaning kind of like an ADD personality, always like, you know, you're like focused or something, ADHD or something. And anyway, she went silent for a while, and Monica had a conversation with her, and Monica came and told me, she says, "You're not going to believe the conversation I just had with Meredith." And she starts telling me the conversation and saying that Meredith was thinking that we were thinking bad of her because she's not doing big volumes. And she was doing like between 2,000 and 3,000 points a month. But a lot of our other leaders were doing 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 15,000 points a month. So see her perspective? And then she would get on, we didn't have video conference at the time, but she'd get on conference calls in some of the movers and shakers. We'd have like, I used to do supervisor focus groups. We'd have 80 supervisors on the call. You know what I mean? And she'd hear all these stories from other people that did 7,000 and 10,000, 12 and 15 and 18,000. And she was feeling like invalidated. And she told, like crying, was telling Monica, "I just feel like y'all look at me and like this, and that you don't appreciate the volume that I do," and just this type of stuff. And Monica was like speechless. This is like if Chica came and said that. We're like, whoa, or Brandon, or Earl, somebody that we have a good relationship with, or Sam, or Alcy, just out of the blue. "Hey man, I think you've been thinking this way about me because I'm not, you know." What? What gave you that feeling? Did I say something on a call directed towards you? You know how sometimes you say something, they think you're talking to them? They feel guilty. You guys know what I mean, right? Even though it's a general statement, they're like, "Oh, geez, he's talking about me," and then they feel bad. So Monica was like, she didn't even know what to say to her. She's like, "Meredith, that's like the furthest. We never once ever." But in her head, she had been tripping for a long time, and this girl ends up fizzling away because of the thoughts that she created in her head, that she thought that we didn't, how do you say that? She was thinking that we thought that she wasn't doing enough volume, so we therefore didn't care about her anymore. That was the gist of it. It was so from left field that Monica was just like, "What?" Like, didn't even know how to respond. She came and told me, and I'm like, wow. You guys see how people can trip without you knowing it? They can trip without you knowing it. They get on a call like here tonight, and everything that comes out of my mouth, even though I put a disclaimer on the front and the back end of my statement, they take it personal, like I'm talking to them, like they're guilty of something. No. And even though we said this, I was always like this on the other calls. No. Disclaimer here, disclaimer there. I didn't wake up. I didn't read your mail. I don't know. But I know as a distributor, we take it personal because of our philosophy of how we feel about ourselves and what we're doing and our perspective of what other people are doing compared to what we're doing and all that type of stuff. You guys understand me on that? Okay? So what I'm sharing with you is if that can happen with her, it can also happen with you, and it can also happen with your people. And then we wonder why sometimes people start tripping and they start looking at you differently, and as they create all these fantasy stories in their head that weren't true. So what I'm telling to you guys as leaders, don't you fall into that trap, that bad mental like it means your brain is like not being exercised enough. Because if you had enough good things going into your brain, chances are you wouldn't have a lot of room for that nonsense. Some people's personality, they just, in general, they trip and they, just tell themselves stories because of maybe a lack of self-esteem or self-confidence about themselves. So they just tell stories to themselves about, they think what other people might be thinking of them or feel. You guys got me? A lot of people do that stuff. So what the important part about personal development is filling your mental philosophy, exercising your brain so none of that other nonsense has room to seep in and be the thief in your mind that destroys your business and destroys your life and destroys relationships. Because Monica was so far caught off by this that she was like, I wasn't on the conversation, but this was a few years ago. She's like, didn't even know what to say to comfort her, other than that's not true. I don't know why you're thinking of that. And what, you guys got me? So there's some things that you can do to protect your own sanity, to protect your own business. And that is definitely you. Be thirsty, be hungry for knowledge, be hungry for wisdom, whether it's books, whether it's a conference call, whether it's an LDW, a kickoff training, an Herbalife event, a podcast, listen to millionaires, listen to the way that they think about things to solve problems and develop their own self-esteem. You guys got me? And I'm telling you, if you do enough of that, that's nutrition for the mind. Like Jim Rohn says, some people spend more on donuts than they do on their own self-education. Invest in yourself. That way the thief in your mind and other people won't, rub off on you through osmosis. Does this make sense? This will save you a lot of money. It'll save you a lot of time. It'll save you a lot of unnecessary grief. Okay? So Monica's coming downstairs with the dogs. If you didn't listen to last week, make sure that you watch last week, because we talked about the next 7 months and like putting a plan together. We talked about 7 months out and then backing it all the way up till today, okay, of putting a plan together, because without vision, you perish. Understand? So I appreciate all of y'all. I love every single one of you. Make sure that your folks listen to tonight. Like, love, I actually don't like nothing. Love everything. Love everything. Ain't no liking. Love everything. Comment on things so we get some fireworks on this when I post stuff up. And and we'll see you guys that are around the Dallas area. We'll see you at the kickoff, okay? Love you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.